everyone, I'm Aveline. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we are building a tiny house. This is probably gonna make me sound like a narcissist, but this is actually, so the shape is inspired by a picture that I found on Pinterest, but the whole concept of the house and like where we're building it and also the landscaping and stuff is actually inspired by a house that I did a while ago that I ended up really liking. So I wanted to do something like it, but with a different shape, bit of a different vibe, and also a different sort of interior as well. So a bit of a mix between my Pinterest or my house and my Pinterest house. Where did that come from anyway? Actually, I do see a lot of my houses on Pinterest, so I suppose I do have some of those actually. But no, it's a bit of a mix between my old house and then also the Pinterest house. So the old house that I did, I think it's titled just Minimalist Tiny House or something. This one, I wanted to bring some Scandinavian vibes to it, although I think in general, when I build minimalist, which I don't really do a lot, but minimalistic interiors, I feel like I'm stumbling on every word that I'm trying to say today, so excuse me. But I feel like whenever I try to do minimalistic interiors in The Sims, they always turn out a little bit Scandinavian, but I think that also makes sense for me. So yeah, the other house that I did a while back might have had might also have looked a little bit Scandinavian for the interior, but for this one I also tried to focus a lot on Dream Home Decorator, for example, which is definitely Scandi inspired. So yeah, a minimalist Scandinavian tiny house is what we're doing today. I think for the other one, for the interior, I also focused a lot on just black, white, and gray. I wanted to add some color to this one, so I did that with plants, but then also tying together the furniture and like rugs and stuff with the plants by adding a lot of green. Or not a lot, but like a little bit. So there's a couple of green tones here and there, like their clothes, for example, but also the rug and a couple of other things that I can't really remember. I like how this turned out. Just be aware that they don't have a proper not dining room. They actually have that, but a proper living room situation in this house, they don't really have that. The kitchen is super small, but it's also a tiny house. And I didn't count, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't count the tiles, so I don't know if it counts as a tiny house in The Sims. But that said, I also used platforms for the roof, as you can see. So it probably doesn't, because those also count towards the tile counter. It's a little... yeah, it's a bit annoying, but I also don't want to make roofing just out of half walls, because then they just seem so unrealistic. Like, where does the water go when it rains, you know? Plus, we're building in Windenburg, so it's supposed to rain a lot here, I'm pretty sure. If it's anything like, not Southern Europe, but pretty much anywhere else, then it rains, you know, it rains a lot. So, yeah. I just didn't want to do that, but I know that doesn't make sense for The Sims, but I don't care. Just let me have this little sprinkle of reality. So we are using some platforms for the roofing. I've said this so many times. I think I say it every time I build a tiny house these days. Also, sorry that my Sim is so much in the way, but honestly, I didn't really notice when I was decorating. I think it's because it's sped up, so it looks like it's a lot more than it is right now, because you see her so often. But anyway, now I forgot what I was saying. Right, I still think the tile count should only count tiles that are used on the interior, or at least like interior plus patios, for example. I don't think it should count as like the roofing. If you use platforms on the roof, I don't think that should count. But here we are. I know that they can't really differentiate between the two, so like there's a gameplay issue right there, but I don't know, as someone who likes to build tiny houses, it's a little bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, also because I get yelled at sometimes, or not yelled at, but I do get comments sometimes that are like, this is not a tiny house. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because well, first of all, we have different perceptions of what a tiny house is, but also I know that I've used platforms for landscaping, so it doesn't actually count as a tiny house in The Sims, whereas I still feel like it should. So I just want to have some fun with platforms. 'Cause platforms are pretty fun to play around with, you know. So you can see the green kind of tying everything together with the roof, or not the roof, the rug right here, and also the paintings, the clothing that is hanging over in their open closet situation, and then later on I also put in a fair amount of plants. I don't want to say a lot. Maybe it's a lot for a tiny house though. Yeah, it might be. But for my standards, no, it's not a lot. Anything below like 30 plants honestly is not a lot. So is all I'm gonna say. I'm actually kind of nervous. So I have to move in the new year because my I don't know if it's a lease. Well, my contract, it's hard to explain without going into specifics, and I don't really want to do that because it's super boring. But I have to move from this apartment that I'm living in right now because I'm only renting it, and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna move to something a little bit smaller. And I'm like, I have 45 plants and like 500 books, and I'm like, where does it all go? I really messed this up, didn't I? Like, I did not think this through. I was just like, I need to fill out the apartment that I'm living in right now, but now I'm kind of like, oh gosh, I can't actually like go to something smaller because now I have too much stuff. Like, where did all that stuff come from? I refuse to part with either my books or my plants. Like, they're all coming with me. I will sleep on the floor. You can have the bed. It's fine. But I'm a little bit nervous about it. I will think about this for the next half year because I'm moving in half a year. And I just will continuously think about it because I cannot come up with a solution. It's a whole thing, but I'm still excited to move though, because I think for me, you can probably tell, but I like to do interiors. I like to find solutions to how you can do interiors in different spaces. I know that doesn't really come as a surprise because that's literally what I do in every single video, but I'm really excited about it. Also, just like turning a new space into your home is very fun to me. But the other day I started thinking about it, like, what do I do with all this stuff? Like, what do I do with my books? I need to bring my books, and what do I do with my plants? What if I don't have a windowsill in a new place? Like, where do I put my cacti? So, I know it's a bit of a luxury problem, if you will. I don't know. I like my things. Like, I spend a lot of time at home, obviously, so I'm very emotionally invested in my plants and also my books. And I don't want to part with any of them. So it'll all sort itself out, I suppose, or something. Like, I'll find a solution. Maybe we'll just be I say we, but like me and the plants and the books. That's the we here. But maybe everything will just be a little bit crammed together or something, but I'll figure it out. I'll find a solution. It'll be fun. I'm actually also, this is so early to say this, but I'm pretty sure that I want to vlog the whole process as well for the other channel. So I'm excited about that aspect of it too, because I love watching moving vlogs. Again, it's the whole like filling out your space. I just love seeing that, like, not just me doing it, but also other people figuring out how to make new spaces their own in their home, and like seeing how it's slowly filled up with personality and stuff. I adore that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But I think I said something like it to my mother the other day, and she was like, well, go figure. I'm assuming that you guys have probably figured that out as well. Like, you're not surprised at this point, are you? But considering, I don't know how many houses I've built in The Sims by now, or apartments, or whatever else we do. Actually, I do want to ask you guys if you want to see some room builds, because I can do some of those, like just put in a room build now and then, like what do those do? I never did like a dollhouse sort of situation, but I think people build room builds like that these days, at least according to all the pictures that I see on Twitter. So if that's of any interest, let me know. I can just like do a room build now and then, but not make it like the majority of the videos that I do, let me know. Also, didn't manage to do Decades Week this week, although that was the plan. I've just not had the time or, frankly, the energy to do anything major like that, because those builds do take a long time to do. And I talked about this in the last video, but I've been so tired after Christmas, like not functioning, not even a little bit. So I will make sure to hopefully plan it in January. And I'm also planning, and I wasn't really gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, so I have been asked multiple times if I could do zodiac signs as tiny houses or just tiny houses inspired by zodiac signs, and I've planned it for the first week of January. So I'm going to do my best to bring out 4 so that we can do like 3 weeks at some point, like 3 weeks total at some point throughout the year, and do the 12 different zodiac signs, because I do like that whole like astronomy, or that's what I call astrology. I almost called it astronomy. That's a whole different thing. Anyway, I almost failed that. That would have been so embarrassing. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you who have been asking, I've decided to do it now. So hopefully that'll be the first week in January, but if it's not, then definitely the second one. So we'll see if we get any new packs and stuff that'll throw a wrench in my plans as well, because that sometimes happens. But anyway, we are nearing the end of the video. I think I'm just going to do some more landscaping and some terrain painting as well, but that's about it. So if you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is the AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, the trade files can be found over on my Patreon, which will be linked to in the description box as well as in the pinned comment, where you can also find a link to my booktube channel. So if you like to read and you like booktube, check it out. I also do vlogs over there now and then, not a whole lot of them, but a bit here and there, so you know, those might pop up a little bit as well. I'm missing the Rome vlog actually, which is pretty embarrassing because that's from like October or something. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye. I never needed gifts of diamonds.